I used to work night shift in a prison. The building I worked in was ancient. The fourth floor was condemned. Second and third were medical services, and the ground floor was split by an elevator. The front half was a clinic, but had been formerly used to house sick prisoners back before they actually had medical staff. The back half was underground and was the old morgue, which had been connected to death row by now collapsed tunnels. No doubt some grisly stuff had gone down there in 60 plus years. I'd heard everyone's creepy stories about mysterious bootsteps, lights going off randomly, and objects flying off counters. One night I went up to the third floor for supplies. The whole facility was completely locked down at night. Inmates are in their cells, and staff are assigned very specific places to be. All movement must be communicated through radios. The only way in and out of anywhere, through doors, into elevators between corridors, is for an officer in a control center to buzz you in or out. And there are cameras everywhere. An officer escorted me to the elevator, up to the third floor, and dropped me off in the supply room. He promised to come up and check on me in a few, and I heard the elevator ding as he got on to go back downstairs. I was pretty busy, so I was up there for a while. But maybe 20 minutes later, I heard the ding. He comes up to the window in the supplies room door, sees me, and goes back down. I continue about my business for a while longer. It's about 3 a.m., and I'm searching through filing cabinets for equipment logs when I come across some peculiar red folders. Immediately, I got a funny feeling, but I'm nosy as hell, so I started thumbing through them. Turns out they were records of all the suicides that had happened there through the years. While reading, I almost thought I heard something, but shrugged it off and went back to reading, until I heard it again, much clearer. It was someone whistling as they walked down the hall. I figured it was the officer checking on me again, until I realized I'd never heard the elevator ding and open. Chills went down my spine as I peered out the supply room window. Sure enough, elevator closed, hallway empty. Freaked out, I put the files away, grabbed my shit, and mashed the elevator call button until the dude in control let me on and back downstairs. Gave the officers shit for scaring me. They swore up and down no one had been let up to the third floor. We checked the cameras, and after the one officer came to check on me, the elevator and emergency stairwell stay shut. The only thing you see is me looking out into the hallway before hauling ass to the elevator with armfuls of adult diapers.
I work overnight at a gas station. At about 3 a.m. one night, I had a woman come in, insanely skinny, blonde, thinning hair, and wearing what looked like pajamas. Nothing really out of the ordinary about her, so I only really glanced up as I buzzed her in, called out a quick greeting, and went back to cleaning. After about 2-3 minutes, though, I look up, and she is standing about 4 feet from the counter just staring at me. Completely blank, unwavering kind of stare. It startled me a little, and I asked her if I could help her with anything. But she didn't reply and just continued to stare. She eventually began looking around the store, but she didn't take her eyes off me the entire time, even walking backwards at some point so she wouldn't break eye contact. After she grabs some things, she comes back to the counter, still staring, but also muttering something under her breath. It was really hard to hear what she was saying, but I managed to make out a brand of smokes after getting her to repeat it several times. I get them for her, scan all her things, and she pays. Eyes still locked on me and showing no emotional at all. It was getting pretty unnerving at this point, and I was looking forward to getting her out the door. As I'm handing over her change, though, she suddenly smiles, which would ease the tension if she didn't also start to laugh. It was a really raspy laugh, kind of a cross between that croaky noise the Grudge makes and a typical witch's laugh. Kind of a cackle, I guess. I tried not to react too much and told her to have a good night and took a few steps back from the counter. We were both kind of frozen, her laughing and me having no idea what to do. She continued her cackling and staring for a few minutes and then left, walking backwards again so she could keep looking at me. I felt really freaked out at that point, but figured she was probably just drunk or high or just had some stuff going on. She was outside now and had wandered off, so I went back to cleaning and tried to shake the whole moment off. I was out in the store mopping about an hour later when I heard a thud against the window. The whole front of our store is just glass panels, and the noise came from right beside me. I looked up, and this damn woman is back. Her hand is pushed up against the window, and she is laughing again. I could just hear it as I was so close to the door. I must have really jumped at the sight of her because she seemed to get a kick out of it, laughing even more, and smacking her hand on the window repeatedly. I stopped the mopping and went back behind the counter. I ended up staying in the back room where all of our security screens are and waiting for her to leave. It took around 45 minutes for her to clear off, the whole time just banging on the window and I assume still laughing. I'm really glad our doors are locked overnight because I wouldn't have liked to have been on the same side of the counter as her. I'm not sure what her deal was, and I doubt she posed any real threat, but man, it really freaked me out. I used to work in this building as staff for a nonprofit, and one night, the security guard called out, and I was the only one to take his place. Why this building stayed open until 11 p.m., I don't know, because everyone went home at 7 p.m. the latest. Anyway, the building was big and old-fashioned, even though the company owned one side. All I had to do was sit at a desk, watch the cameras, and lock up once 11 p.m. came around, and wait for our truck driver to pick up some artwork. So it's almost 11, the truck driver is on his way, and the old elevator starts to move. It's on the 5th floor, and it starts coming down. I'm freaked the fuck out because no one is on the 5th floor. I saw the last person go home 2 hours ago, so I grab the baton and go upstairs to investigate. Since the elevator is in motion and I'm fucking scared of it, I take the large staircase. As I'm going straight up to the 2nd floor, mezz, the lobby has old high ceilings. I hear footsteps that sound like high heels down in the lobby. I rush back downstairs, thinking I never locked the front door, but it's not open. The elevator door opened and no one was inside. I thought it was maybe my boss, so I started to call out his name while walking up the stairs. No one was on the 2nd floor, so I continue up the stairs, and I hear the elevator move again. It is on its way to the 5th floor. When I get to the 3rd floor, the creepiest of them all, seriously, it had those dark wood walls. The elevator stops above, and I hear footsteps. I finally get to the 5th floor, and no one is there but some creepy fucking statue at the end of the hall. I can't believe I even had the guts to close up the floor and leave. So I get past the 4th floor and I'm back on the creepy 3rd floor, and I almost shit my pants at the sight of something moving in the corner of my eye. No big deal, probably a roach. Keep going, the truck driver will be here soon. Nope. I look again, and the outline of a skinny kid with messy hair runs by the door of the president's office at the end of the hall. I didn't fucking turn off that fucking light. Shit. I move toward the president's office, and the elevator starts moving again, and there are footsteps in the staircase at the same fucking time. I start to break down and cry right there in the hallway. I have no idea what to do, so I run into the meeting room and cower near the window. Because if I see that fucking kid or something else in the building, I am ready to jump. I hear the elevator door open on my floor, and my name being called out softly. I start screaming, Leave me the fuck alone. The footsteps are getting closer to the meeting room. The door opens. I don't look because I have my eyes closed. I grab the baton, and as soon as I swing, some force stops it. It's the fucking truck driver. I was so relieved to see him, I collapsed into his arms and bawled for a good minute. He got me all cleaned up, helped me close up, and gave me a ride home. Right as we got down the street from the building, he turned to me and said, "You didn't know that place was fucking haunted? Jim, my boss, has been talking about Tommy for years. Turns out Tommy was a boy who died of pneumonia in that home in the early 1900s. When I looked at one of the historical books we had on the mansion, that skinny kid with shaggy hair was in it.